the fate of a certain Mr. Garrosh.
Oh, this angered me.
This angered Matt. So, Draka, you have many stories. You've told me many stories of your life. Goel, seems some of the memories trouble you. Yes, I spoke of Garrosh, son of Gromash Hellscream. I'd hoped to spare him from the darkness his father knew, but instead I fear I'm to blame for the ruin he unleashed. Fate sets a course before each of us. How are you to blame for the destiny he wrought? Basically, in this, Draka is just clean, a bit wrong and stupid. I feel it's weird. Thrall's like, I took him from Nagrand. I made him War Chief when he needed me most. I left him to falter, and in the end, it was my hand that struck him down. Again, dishonorably, because it wasn't a fair fight.
Yeah.
Draka, your father used to say that a wolf decides whether to come when called or to turn on its master. There is no fault, only nature taking its course. Garrosh chose his path, my son. Now, this line really got me because, okay, in this case, you got to remember, we've domesticated dogs. They have sort of domesticated wolves. A wolf decides whether to come or to turn on its master, but you train the wolf.
Yeah.
That's how it works. I just felt that was really weird. And also, it's just from so many angles. Like, it's a weird analogy. And, I mean, Thrall's right here. And I hope he does not listen to his mother. Because he says, but I set him upon it. You offered him a choice. You did not choose for him. It's like, yeah, that's true, but it's missing the point.
Yeah.
And if we have the attitude where this is the sort of lesson that we take, we're not going to learn and we're not going to do better. We're always going to externalize the blame, right? Mourn if you must, but his decisions are not your burden to bear. His path ended, yours moves onward. Onward, yes, there is much to be done. Thank you, mother. So, yeah, I just thought that was a funny... I mean, it's nice to see those characters interact. I suppose... they're just treating them oddly. Well, I don't know. What's your thought?
It's... Okay, so the one defense that I will give it is that if this is Draka literally just trying to be the mother to her son that she couldn't be because she was dead, then I think this is completely acceptable. It's completely acceptable from the writer's perspective, just not from the player perspective, because we won't see any of that. Like, because we see very little development between them whatsoever. So I think in that case, I'm like, okay, sure, that's fine. That's fine. But to someone who's followed that whole story, it just reeks of, no, Garrosh was just bad. They're just bad actors. Don't think about systems. Don't think about how you've trained people. Don't think about how you've designed anything. Don't think about your part to play. Just go, bad person, bad, problem solved. It's like, Garrosh, under any circumstance, would have become War Chief Garrosh. War Chief Garrosh, Hellscream, the big racist and murderer of many. And that's just so, like, it goes against anything that people would find satisfying as a story. Or even in terms of trying to make it analogous to real life. It's just not true. Thrall literally gave him power. Like, the way I was talking to this about with a couple people on the team, and it was straight up just... Like, Thrall handed him the gun. Garrosh chose to pull the trigger, but Thrall handed him the gun. He made him War Chief. He gave him the power he needed to commit those war crimes. He was the one who set him up for that. And it's the kind of thing where I don't think Blizzard completely, like, I don't think they understand partial culpability. Thrall is partially responsible for Garrosh.
Absolutely.
There's no two ways around that. And to say otherwise is completely ignorant of human nature, animal nature, any sort of nature of anything. And that's why that actually pissed me off. I was like, oh, so Garrosh is just bad? Is that how these people view the world? Oh, just bad actors. What do you want to do? Just evil people? People are, some people are born evil, like Garrosh. Like, what?
Just absolutely not
the
Garrosh take, like...
Yeah, and the thing that actually bugs me more than anything else is that, like, they didn't do anything super intense, but in the Book of Heroes in Hearthstone, when they have Garrosh go through the story, it's a little bit more nuanced, and it kind of shows a little bit of his journey of why he was, ultimately he made the wrong choice, and he was proud to make that choice because he believed in it.
Yeah.
But he was still wronged by Thrall at steps upon the journey. And that's represented better in Hearthstone than it is here. Because this is... If it's just a mother going, sorry, it's alright, couldn't have done any better, try again next time, son. That's okay. But that's not really communicated. And it's just, yeah, Garrosh evil. Which they're going to kind of probably run with Exarch Hellscream. Where he's going to be the big evil enforcer of the light in the other timeline. And they're all just going to go home and go, yep, well, the Hellscream, bloodline, evil, job done. Which goes completely against the original point of Grom.
If they, I hope, yeah. It's like that was it. Garrosh needed love and support.
Yep.
And a whole bunch of things that he was never given. And Thrall repeatedly put him in situations that he was very ill-equipped to deal with, even from Wrath of the Lich King onwards.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just go and make... Yeah. So, but that was all a good, fun story. This guy was totally out of his depth, and, it is Thrall's fault, really. Yeah. And, I like how the storyline went, and, Garrosh was such a great character to have around in Kata.
Yeah.
All that, like, leveling sort of quest content was great. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. I will address chat. Like, I'm not removing Garrosh's agency in this whatsoever. It's the idea of partial culpability. Either of these people could have done better and the problem would have been solved. Thrall could have not given Garrosh the power and the way to become so vile. And Garrosh could have not been that way. Garrosh could have, been fucking reasonable. Because he clearly wasn't. He was literally an orc supremacist and nuked Theramore. Like, I don't think it needs said at all that those are bad things he shouldn't have done. And he pulled the trigger. He's to blame for that. But
whenever Theramore got nuked, it's like, hey, Thrall.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.